Welcome back everyone. So in the last video, we solved movie rating, which was 39th question in SQL 50 series. And in this video, we are going to solve restaurant growth. So let's dive in. Okay, so we are given a customer table, which has 4 columns: customer ID, name, visited on, amount. Now in SQL, the group of these 2 columns is a primary key for this table. Now this table contains data about customer transaction in a restaurant. Visited on is the date on which the customer with customer ID has visited the restaurant. Now amount is the total paid by the customer. So you are a restaurant owner and you want to analyze a possible expansion. There will be at least one customer every day. So this is an important information here, that there will be at least one customer each day. So there will be like one or more customers every day visiting the restaurant. Now we have to compute the moving average of how much the customer paid in 7 days window, current day plus 6 days before, and average amount should be rounded to 2 decimal places. Now we have to return the result table order by visited on in ascending order. The result format is in the following example. So let's look at this customer table in the first example. So the first information is that there will be at least one customer every day, and we have to find the amount, that is average amount, in the 7 days window. So the first 7-day window will be this. Okay, so on the date 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. In this window, we have to calculate the average amount. So for this window, 2019 01 07 01 and 07. This is the last day of the first window. The total amount spent by users in these 7 days is 860 and the average is 122.86. Now the second window will be from date 2 to 8. So the last date of the second window is 2019 01 08. Total amount paid is 840 and the average is 120. Similarly, the next window will be this one, and the next one will be this, and the last one will be this window. So the last window's last date is 2019 01 10. Total amount spent is 1000 and average of this is 142.86. Okay, so now how should we approach this problem? Okay, so first information that I already highlighted is that there will be at least one customer each day. So since we want the grouping by 7 entries, so that is first group will be this, then second will start from the second entry until 8 similarly. So for these 7 entries, for example, if the customer with customer ID visited same day twice, then we have to merge those two into a single entry. Okay, so the first thing is that we have to group the entries where a person is visiting twice on the same date. Okay, now let me show you how are we going to solve this problem. So you can see in the first table there will be multiple groups. So let me tell you once again. So the first group will be until 01 07. The second group will be until 01 08. The third group will be this one, and the fourth group will be this one, starting from 0142 0110. Last two entries will be merged because that day is a single day when John and Zaid visited. Okay, so there will be 1 2 3 4 5 6 and these two combined to a single one, that is a total of 7 days window. Okay, so now let me explain you. Okay, so you see we have to calculate for the average amount for a window of 7 days. Now there can be duplicate entries like this, and for such a cases we have to prepare a table that will contain each day's amount spent by user. So for this the entry will remain same, this will remain same. So these all entries will remain same except that last two entries will be merged. So we will merge last two entries and we will select in the temporary table only the visited on and amount. And why only these two columns? Because in the output you can see that we only need visited on and amount from the customer table. So we will write a query to get the visited on and the amount on that particular date. So for 01, the user has spent 100 rupees. Similarly, I'll write for every users the amount spent. And since the last two entries will be merged together, we'll write the combined amount on that particular date, that is 280. And the last entry will be removed, and we will select only the visited on and the amount spent on that particular date. So these are the entries, and using this temporary table will come to the final result set. So now what we have to do is we have to select a window of 7 days. Okay, so how should we select? So let's say, for example, if I select this first date and I join the same table, let's say this table is X, and if I join X with X on a condition that any entry, you pick any entry, for example, the first entry, join the first entry in the first table with entries in the second table in such a way that the visited on in the first table and visited on in the second table will form 7 days window. So for example, in the first table the entry is 0101. Now we have to join this entry in the other table such that the date in the other table are 6 days behind or the current date. So in the other table, is there any date that is equal to this or behind 6 days? Yes, so the entry will be this. Then the next entry will be 0101. There will be no other entries because there is no date before 01 and 01. So in this group, we have a total of single entry. Okay, now we will use the second entry. So for second entry, we'll have 0102 and 0102. This is the first entry. Then the second entry will be 0102. This same entry is joined in the other table, that is 0101. So entry in the first table is joined to entries in the second table in such a way that the entries in the first table and entries in the two table will make a 7-day window. So we'll join entries in the second table in such a way that the date is same or 6 days behind the current date. So 0102 is joined with itself and 0102 is joined with 0101. So this group will form two entries. Okay. Similarly, we'll come to this 07. So that is 0107 is one of the entries. We'll join it with 0107. We'll join the same entry with 0106. We'll join the same entry with 05, 04, 03, 02 and 01. So you see this same entry is joined with 7 entries. So this will be one of the group. Similarly, for 08, we will form 7 entries group. So this entry that is 0108 is joined with 0108, 07, 06, 05, 4, 3 and 02. So this will form 2, 4, 6 and 7. So you see this entry is joined with itself and 6 days behind this current date, that is 6 days behind will be until 02. So this will form a 7 days window. So for entries before 07, this will form less than 7 entries. These all will form less than 7 entries. So the first entry that will form 7 days window will be 07, and all the entries after this date will surely form 7 days window. So these all entries will form 7 days window. Okay. Now the condition we obviously can write that we have to reject all those groups where the count of entries is less than 7. We have to select only those groups where the entry count is 7. And for these groups 07, 08, 09, 010, count of the entries in that group, those particular group will be 7. And all the date behind 07 will have less than 7 entries. Okay. So for example, the first entry will have only 1 entry, second will have 2 entry, third will 3, 4, 5 and 0106 will make only 6 entries. It is until 07 date that will make the 7 days window first group. Okay, so now let us write the query to understand it better. So as I said, first we'll create a temporary table that will store each day amount. So you see in the last two entries, this is the same date and we have to calculate it on a window of 7 days. So we'll have to merge all the entries in which the date is same. So we'll have to select what visited on, and we have to select the amount, sum of amount as amount from customer table. We have to group by what? We have to group by visited on. Now let me show you the result of this query. Okay, so this is the result of this query, in which you can see the last two entries in the example one, that is visited on is same. So we'll merge these two and get the sum of amount spent on this particular date. So the total amount spent on 0 and 10 is 280. So this is the amount. So now this temporary table has the amount spent on that particular date. Okay. Now we have to store this resulting table into a temporary table. So with daily amount as this. Now, as I shown you on the whiteboard, that we have to join these daily amount table in such a way that the first entry's date is joined with second table's visited on in such a way that the days difference between the two is 7 days. So if the first entry has 0106, then we'll join this entry with entries in the second table in such a way that date can be same or 6 days before it. So what we'll do is we'll select something from, we'll join daily amount, let's say daily amount 1 join with daily amount, and we'll give this table dm2 as an aliases. After joining, we have to write a condition, and that condition is on a condition that dm2, that is daily amount 2, that is right side table, and in the right side table the visited on should be between what? Between 6 days before and the current date. So this will form a 7 days window. So an entry will be joined with other entries in the other table in that 7 days window. So first the earliest date, that is something, and the current date. What is current date? That is dm1 dot visited on. So in the first table visited on, this dm1 dot visited on is the last date, and this one will be the first date. So this range will form a 7-day window. Now what will be the first date? So since dm1 dot visited on is the last date, the first date is 6 days before dm1 dot visited on. So there is a function in SQL, that is date sub. So what we have to do is from dm1 dot visited on, we have to subtract 6 days, that is interval of 6 day. So what we did is we want to join the entry in the first table to the entries in the second table with the condition that the second tables visited on lies in the interval of these 7 days. After joining, okay, let me show you the result of this query first. So we'll select everything. Okay, so this is our result set. And since the entries are like too much, they are truncated. So, and the entries are also not ordered into analyze the result set. So let me show you by order by what? dm1 dot visited on. So this is temporary, just to show you the result set. So you see the first date, that is 2019-0101, is joined with itself, and then there is no other join on this date because there is no date that is before 0101. So in this group we have only single entry. Then 02 is joined two times, that is with the itself and then on 0101. So 0102 is joined by two entries in the right table. Similarly 03 is joined three times, 04 4 times, 5 5 times, 6 6 times, and the 7 will be joined by 7 times, 0107 with 0107 and the 6 days before it. Okay, So we have to reject all the groups where the count of entry in that particular group is less than 7. First we have to group, then we have to reject those group where the count is less than. So we have to group by what visited on, but which one visited on should we take? So if you see, let's say this group. So 0103 is joined two times. So 0103 is joined with itself, and 0103 is joined with, that is one day before, that is 0102 and 0101. So there will be three entries for the 0103. So which visitor on should we take to group by? We'll be using the left table visitor on, because left table visitor on will give us a 7 days last date. So this is the last date of this group. So if you select, so if you see this group, in this group we have three entries: 0102, 0103, 0101. So the last date in this group is 0103, which is on the left side. So we'll select the left tables visited on, that is daily amount 1 dot visited on. Upon grouping, we will reject all those groups where count of first tables, count of, let's say, star should be equal to what, 7. So we have to select only those groups where the count in the group should be 7. Okay, so let me show you the result of the query again. So group by daily amount. Okay, we cannot select, I think, having count of star is equal to 7. Okay, so you can see in the resulting output. So the first group is this one, the second group is this one, the third group is this one, and the fourth group is this. So if you see in the example table, the first group will be this, and in this group the last date is 2019-0107. That's the date we have selected from the first table. Okay, similarly the next date will be 0108, third date will be 0109, and the fourth date will be 01010. Okay, so now what we have to select is, we have to select dm1 dot visited on, then sum of amounts. So which amount should we select? We have two amounts, that is in the first table and in the second table. Which amount should we select? Should we select the first table amount or the second table amount? So we will be selecting the amount of the second table. And why I am saying this? Because let's take this entry. Okay, so this entry will be joined with itself, with 5, with 4, with 3, 2 and 1. Now these entries are in the right table, which means these entries will have these amounts. Okay, now this entry will be in the left table, and how many time? 6 time. All the 6 time this entry will appear, and all the time there will be 140, 140, 140. Okay, so for example 2019-0107, this one, there will be 7 times 150. But if you see in the right table, 0107 is joined with 0107, 06, 5, 4, 3 and 2 and 1. And these entries appear in the right table, and with respect to these entries we'll have their amounts. These amounts are for 01 to 07. Okay, so we'll select the sum of amounts in the right table, that is dm2 dot amount. And the next thing we have to select is average of this amount, that is gm2 dot amount. And as per the question, we have to round this to 2 decimal places. We have to select this as average amount. Now let's see the result of this query. Okay, we have to select this as amount. Okay, so our test case has been passed, and I didn't tell you why we have used order by. Where is that? Order by dm1 dot visited on. So it's given in the question that we have to return the result table order by visited on in ascending order. So if I remove this like order by, the result will be correct in some cases but not in all cases. So to make the result correct for every test case, we'll have to write this order by dm1 dot visited on. Okay. So let's submit this. Okay, so our solution got accepted.